Hello, gamers, and welcome to episode 460 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for June 22nd, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on this week, Dominic?
What's going on? It's fucking hot. That's what's going on. I hate the summer. I am counting down the days until we get to October.
Yep.
With this shit over with, man. God damn. Like a freaking heat wave and shit happening. I know places, man. I hate summer, man. It's like, as an adult, and now it's official that it's been more years of me hating summer than it is like hating winter, because I think it's only 14 years of school years, if you count like the 2 years of like pre-K and kindergarten. So, and you know what? I don't even count pre-K and kindergarten, because I probably didn't hate school then, and maybe a little bit of first grade I didn't hate, and then I think the second half I realized, oh, we get homework now, and I don't want to do work at home. Yeah, man, it's horrible. In college and stuff like that. When I was younger 20s, I think I was still okay with summer. I could deal with it. But then, later on, I just said, you know what, fuck it. No, this is bad. All right. So let's get down to it. Sports. Orioles have been doing pretty good. It's been a great week. We beat Atlanta in the series. We beat the Phillies in the series. They beat the Yankees in the series.
Yeah.
Then we blew the shit out of them in the last game of the series, man. Just scored a ton of runs. Scored 17 runs. I mean, we killed them, and I was like, Jesus, man. It's like, what the hell? And then we played against Houston yesterday, as of this podcast, and Houston started blowing the shit out of us. It was like 14-4 at one point, I think, in the game. And I was like, damn, I guess they just, that going through all those series, I guess they just hit the wall. Like, they're just tired, yeah. But then the bats start coming along at the end. And I was like, oh, shit, I still had the game on. So I was like, well, actually, I turned it. And then I turned it back on. They were still down by like 10 points, 10 or 11 runs or whatever. And then they started coming back. And I was like, oh, what's happening here? I said, I was just happy that they made it at least look like, okay, it's not really a blowout anymore. Like, I was like, when they got to like 7 runs or 8 runs, I said, okay, at least it looks better. At least it's not, I said, I'll take that. But darn, they made it get to 14-11 and had a chance to really win it. It really scared those Houston fans and stuff to the point they had to get their closer out there. It's like, damn, we made them get their closer when they probably didn't thinking they was going to go easy. Yep. And yeah, man, the O's offense came along. It's just the pitching, man. I don't know what happened to starting pitcher. This is like the first game I saw us lose where I can blame the starting pitching. Like, most of the losses have been that we didn't really score a lot of runs, or maybe the bullpen might have blew it, but it wasn't like. But a lot of times, even when the bullpen, you can say blew it, it was a close game, and it was like, we had chances. We left people on base. We could have scored some more runs too. This is the first one where I can say like our offense was just on, and but we just didn't come through. The pitching just didn't come through this game, and I'm okay with that. It was 162 games. So I was like, that's fine. And plus, this game, it's like one of those losses where I don't really feel that bad, because I was like, darn, we were getting blown the hell out. They were up 14-4-3 at one point, and we made it 11-14. That's fucking crazy. That's freaking crazy that we made a game. We really made a game, and I guess with confidence in like the rest of the game. So I hope if we could win the series, then it's like, oh, that's great. I mean, after playing against 3 other playoff teams, and Houston has been great for the last 6 or 7 years. This year they haven't started out great. Now lately they have been great lately, but they still have a losing record. They're trying to battle back from having a rough start. But they still have guys on their team. It's like they're one of those teams where they're not doing well, but they have players. I mean, come on, they just went to the World Series they won the World Series 2 years ago. There was the American League Championship game last year. So they're not like, they're in pushovers. So even going to the series, I didn't think I didn't look at the record, okay, they're bad this year. Nah, they still got players, and we competed, and so hopefully we can come through. We got our ace playing this game today. Hopefully we'll come through and take it. Other than that, it's that's basically it. Like, I really watch the sports. I haven't really been paying attention to anything else. What else has been going on, really? I mean, WNBA, I know it seems like Caitlin Clark's been, her team, they've been winning lately. Yeah, I know how to beat the Mystics. Mystics suck this year. They're the worst team this year, I think. I want to say. Which I wish they were the worst team last year, because we could have that Caitlin Clark. So yeah, Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark or something like that. I was like, darn, we failed at that. But yeah, so that was, and it was an alright game, and good for the people who got to watch it. What else was there? If you hear noise in the background, it's my fan, because I'm hot as shit. So sorry about that. Yeah, nothing else. So any wrestling news, man?
They did have a pay-per-view last week. I still haven't seen it, though. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Is it AEW?
No, because we talked about the WWE one, didn't we? Was that 2 weeks ago? I can't remember. Either way, AEW's building up to Forbidden Door, and that's their kind of crossover with New Japan. They're actually they don't have a lot of New Japan crossover matches this year. There's only 4 New Japan guys on the card so far. They do, on the women's side of things, have I think a woman from Stardom and then another woman from CMLL. And they've got a couple of guys from CMLL, I believe. That's a Mexican promotion. And Stardom is a women's Japanese promotion. But I actually went on Wednesday. Dynamite was in Fairfax, and I went to that. Apparently it was the lowest rated Dynamite ever, so that's a fun note in the history book. It was actually a good show,
to be a part of that.
It's it's probably one of the better ones I've been to as of late, because when they started running CCBC instead of the Baltimore Arena or something like that, it was really kind of like a C or D tier show. And this
you haven't been to the Baltimore Arena since they revamped it, have you?
Yes. I'm trying to think. They did
It was last year.
Was it just last year? Then no, I don't. Yeah. I don't think I have. Okay. I thought I had gone to the CFG arena or something, but it might just be because I keep seeing ads for WWE there or something like that. But I haven't actually gone. No, it's been all the smaller venues, because I haven't been to a WWE show in a long time. But this one, they ran George Mason University in Fairfax. It's a fine size arena, and it's one of those places where it's you don't really have too many bad seats, because it's not big enough to be that far away from anything. But yeah, they had some really solid matches, like MJF versus Roosh. MJF, this is his first match back after being gone for 6 months with an injury. The main event was Claudio versus Pac. Those are two very good wrestlers. It was a very solid wrestling heavy show, which is what AEW does. The promo stuff was a little hard to hear. The sound wasn't very good there, levels wise, but most of that stuff when I came back home was the top stuff on Reddit anyway, so I was able to see all that stuff. But that was a good time. And they always record Rampage, which is their Friday show, after they do Dynamite. So, basically that show as well, which is fun. But yeah, they're just leading up to their pay-per-view. WWE's kind of trucking along. I did see last night that Jacob Fatu, who is a guy that's been in MLW, which is a smaller promotion that's below TNA levels, but above strict indie stuff. He is related in some way to the the lineage, the bloodline family kind of stuff. So he's actually come in. He's been rumored forever to be joining this new iteration of the bloodline, like post Roman Reigns. And he finally came in last night and attacked Cody and Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. So that should be pretty cool. I mean, they've got Money in the Bank coming up. But basically it's that, and then the road to SummerSlam, which is going to be interesting if it's that point where we start seeing Roman come back, or if it's going to be, even longer than that. And it's mostly going to be, maybe The Rock coming back and facing off with Cody. But that should be some good stuff. They also debuted on Monday night the new Bray Wyatt's kind of allegiance faction. Like before he had passed away, they were setting up this whole thing with like basically a faction for him, more people to group with him. And one of those people was his brother, who was formerly Bo Dallas in WWE. He was kind of a comedy wrestler, but they had him dressed up with this weird mask, and he was Uncle Howdy. Yeah, so they've been doing these like weird QR code promotional things for a while now, leading up to this, and on Monday they finally debuted them, and everybody's got masks on, and they're all weird. Like they all hint to like these different characters that have been in the Bray Wyatt kind of universe for a while. My concern with that is like it's another one of these kind of like horror adjacent gimmicks, because like the show ended with like the backstage area being terrorized and everybody getting beat up and looking like they were almost murdered and whatnot. But then at a certain point you got to get in the ring and wrestle, and that was always my problem with Bray Wyatt as a character, is like the wrestling just wasn't there, the in-ring work wasn't there, so it didn't ever really work for me. He didn't work as a threat that he, spoke about being when he was doing these promos. And eventually the booking also, did him no favors, because he wasn't like a mediocre wrestler, but he won. He was a mediocre wrestler, and then he also lost. So like, Vince was not giving him the wins that he needed to legitimize the character that he was portraying. So that was always unfortunate. I am interested to see what they do with this faction, especially knowing that it's based on things that Bray Wyatt wanted to do. But at a certain point, like those ideas are going to run out, and it's going to have to be placed in the hands of either a writer or Triple H or what have you, or, even his brother, his family, and seeing where they take it from there and what it actually evolves into. I think that's going to be the most interesting thing that they can do with it. So, but yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now. We're in a holding pattern, not like the biggest pay-per-views right now, but still big shows coming up.
So I guess we get into what we were watching, and before we both watch House of Dragons.
Yeah.
If we get to that, I'll talk about some things I watched. I watched The Big Lebowski finally.
Nice.
I know it's a movie that a lot of white people really say it's really great. Cause I never heard a black person really talk about it.
Yeah.
So I watched it, and it was all right. It was all right. It was funny. I could see why it was a product of its time, basically. Or some people would say, hey, it still is. I say, okay, if you say so, I'll believe you.
It's not like a masterpiece in the way that like a lot of other Coen brothers are. It's kind of like their dick around movie, it feels like.
Yeah. It was funny. I mean, it was funny, and I see now the references that everybody's put to it. I said, okay, this is where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay movie. It was an okay movie to me. I also watched Ender's Game. I had listened to the book anyway. The book years ago, and I remember even on that disc, the author Orson Scott He said that. Yeah, he said that. Yeah, they were working on the movie and on it, and yeah, it was like years later until it came out. Yeah, the movie was it was kind of mediocre. I mean, I think it changed some things for the books, but I don't remember exactly everything from the book.
Yeah.
But it was okay. I just remember the basically the twists. That's the big memory from the book, and I guess the movie did also. And it was well, I don't want to spoil. I mean, well, spoil alert. I mean, have you read? I
don't mind. I don't know that I really care about this game. I was actually going to ask you what the twist is.
Okay, yeah, it's that all the time, like not the whole time they're practicing, but it got to a point near the end where you thought it was a practice, basically, of like training against the enemy. Then you realize they were actually fighting the enemy, and like it was a tactic he was doing with this group. And then he just think it is just this is just practice, and then they said you saved the world or something like that, and he basically
win the game.
He eradicated the enemy, and the thing is, it was like he felt like he committed like genocide though, because
I was going to say congratulations,
people.
You did genocide. Jeez.
Yeah, but because he thought like was there another way for this and everything, but thing is, he did find the egg of a queen, and he was going to help it be planted somewhere else. That's like, oh, so this is what some people were saying was like the Arachnid Queen shit. Was like this book, because I was like, oh, so this is very similar to that.
Yeah,
that story from Mass Effect. So I was like, okay, and that's how it just ended. Like him going out, and it changed it a bit, because I think in the book, his brother was like a leader on Earth or nothing. He was like a military guy or whatever, and I think his sister went with him on this journey to find a home for the queen. And the whole thing is that the species that are fighting against them, they didn't understand them. Like neither side understand each other. Like they was thinking that, oh, this group of people, because they were like ants basically. They're both like ants, and they live in like a hive mind.
Right.
And they was thinking that, hey, these creatures don't live in a hive mind. Let's get them. And they thought like they should, because they say like this is how it's supposed to be.
Right.
And they were trying to get them to live like this. They hate to join ourselves. The humans, they didn't know what was going on, so they started shooting. It's like, oh, what are these guys doing? It's like, what are these creatures doing? It's like, no, we don't believe in that shit, no hive mind shit. But since then nobody knew how to communicate and everything, they realized before they realized what they were doing, like, oh, these guys, individuals, they live the life they want to live, whatever. They live a different way. It was too late, and the war was already starting. Mm-hmm. So now, so that's how the war kind of started and everything. But yeah, it was okay. It's an okay movie. Like, it was good for me to watch it while I was doing other things. Like, I wasn't just sitting there. I mean, I was just kind of curious to see how things go and everything. But it was all right. Yeah. The other movie I watched, cause I totally forgot about it, was Glass. Like, I was like, oh yeah, let me watch Glass, because I did always want to see it, because I did like Unbreakable, and I finally did see Split, which was an okay horror movie. I'm not really big into those type of movies, but since it was connected to this whole universe thing, I said check out Glass, and Glass I enjoyed it. It was just a different take on like the old superhero thing. Thing is, I'm not gonna spoil the whole thing. I'm just gonna say like how it starts. It starts with Bruce Willis's character looking for the guy in Split, because he's out there still capturing, killing people, and he did save these cheerleaders from Split. But while they were fighting, this government agency or something captured them, and they were put in to an insane asylum, basically. And the lady's trying to convince them that they're not really heroes, that they have this disorder, that him, the guy from Split, and even Glass, because they already captured Glass, they believe that they're heroes, but you don't really have any powers. Like Glass, at least his powers is basically like his intelligence, but it's like you're just a smart dude,
right?
And and Split is that she explained his stuff away by saying that, hey, like the bars, like he bend or something, were very old. Like it can be bended. Like she said, I could bend it with a wrench or something. It's just that, like if I use a wrench, I can bend it, and you're just stronger. You know, you're just stronger, so you can bend it. And you felt like you were doing something to human. It's not really. You just, you just work out. You just work out or something. And then with Bruce Willis is saying like, but like how you explain like the visions he has when he touches people, he can see what they've done and what they could do. And she said that no, you're just seeing things. You're just using what basically almost like a Sherlock Holmes kind of thing. Like you saw the reason how you found the guy from Splits because you saw that he touched. You saw something clay stuff on his pants, so you knew it was around in the area of a brick, like with this warehouse somewhere, and then you saw how he was acting like a childlike mind, and you heard stories about like, hey, this guy has weird personality or something. You just put everything together to realize where he was. So yeah, it was almost she tried to he was convincing them that their mind and like they had sedated Glass. So Glass is like because he's so smart he can escape. He's like this in sedation. But yeah, it's good. I mean, I think it's good. I personally think it's good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I still think Unbreakable is probably my favorite of the three, but I think Glass is a good complement to the other movies and like a good ending of the trilogy. I guess. Then yeah, I mean, I think it was all right. I think it was an all right movie. I think it's worth at least checking out.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's all I watched, except for, and I guess we could get into House of Dragons. So, how did you like the first episode?
So it definitely took me a minute to like figure out the characters again. I thought about going back and watching the first season.
What year did it come out? Did it come out 2021?
It was at least 2 years ago, so it might have been 2022.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot what year it was, Daniel. That's why I was thinking 2022.
That's all right. Yeah, so it's been a while, but also like even just while watching that show, I had trouble with outside of the main, like the main characters, and even then, like remembering names for them was a little, especially because like some of them are kind of the same because they're like son of this person is the same as the grandfather or whatever. Anyway, but yeah, it just kind of got right into it. It's Rhaenyra dealing with the death of her child who got chomped up by the dragon at the end of the last season by her uncle, brother, niece, nephew, whatever.
He said niece. I don't think he's a woman.
I don't know. Yeah, because it's his son from
it's her brother. It's her brother.
Yeah, it's her brother.
Yeah.
So his uncle. Yeah. It's just so weird, like the age gaps. Although now that they're all grown up, the age gap isn't like so obvious. Now that the younger kids are.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, she's dealing with that. You don't even really see much of her in this episode. It's really dealing with kind of everything else. You see a lot of what's going on in King's Landing and how the young king is dealing with his newfound power, which doesn't seem to be well because his uncle is basically just telling him what to do. He's out there like, yeah, you want your sheep? I'll give you your sheep back. That's cool.
Yeah, you say, well, yeah, so you can't do that because then you have to give other people their stuff too. And it's like, he don't know how to delegate. Yeah,
exactly.
He's not,
Yeah. So there's that. And of course, then at the end of the episode, there's the big moment, that now I've been listening to stuff about Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon for a while now, since the first season. So I knew that this event was going to happen, that like really kind of kicks off the stuff. And it seems like it in this episode, it's kind of, and maybe it's just because of that context, it's not quite as eventful as I thought it was going to be. Because like they were saying, like people were talking about it, like basically this is this book's version of the Red Wedding, you know, this like super shocking moment when like they just killed Rhaenyra's son. Like it doesn't feel like it's that surprising that like a child on the other side is also going to get killed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's a little surprising that maybe it's not the child that you would expect. And, you know, I think that's where the season's going to go from here, right? Is like, it's one thing if it was Aemond, I think, is the one that killed with the one eye.
But I kind of figured, like, if they were going to meet him, he'll get out. He'll get out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. There was two bumbling idiots who can barely get through the castle, you know. But yeah, so I think this is like the jumping off point, right? Like from this point on, it's gonna be pretty intense. Like we're now in the war, so I'm definitely intrigued to see what's gonna happen this week. What did you think of this episode, Dominic?
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, it was just really like a start to get the almost like to get things going, like the calm before they didn't want to start off with just a battle. I guess, you know. So it was a good start off. Like, they get this guy killed. So it's like, okay, now we're going to really get into some shit. Like, things are really going to be rolling. Like, anger. Like, because, like I said, the king, like, they're just getting allies and stuff now. And now we're going to see probably him want to react in a way. Like, because, hey, they killed his son. Mm-hmm. And I guess that girl had her vision. Because she did say rats. Yep. She was scared of the rats. And, and it was 7 do rats or whatever.
Yeah, the rat catcher.
It's, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I just want to watch it. There's nothing else really fucking going on. Oh, I guess The Boys is technically on.
Yeah.
Which is, that's pretty interesting that they both started at the same time. Mm-hmm. So... we'll see. Another Amazon show, because Amazon, when they did the Lord of the Rings show, was on the same time as House of Dragons.
All right.
So now they got The Boys happening around the same time as House of Dragons. Kind of like they're kind of overlapping. So
man, if I was them, I would not be doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, they started earlier, so I guess they're like, all right, we're gonna get these people hooked in, and it's not like they're they're not coming on at the same time because it's not like a premiere thing, but at the same time. Yeah.
Or maybe they see maybe it's just that they know people can watch more than one thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's they see that. It's like, look, one show is not, there's nothing else going on.
Just feels like one would like dominate the conversation, I guess. Because it does seem like they would be, pretty overlapping fan-wise.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. But I mean, to me, I feel like they would, if they were okay with that with Lord of the Rings thing happened years ago, I guess they saw the numbers and it doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else? What else about the show? Oh, well, there's really nothing else. Yeah, it's really not much to talk about. At least from my end.
Not so far in this episode. Nah.
All right. So I guess we're getting to what we've been playing. So I played some more Dragon Age 2, and that game is it is a broken mess right now because it keeps crashing on me. And I don't know what the hell's going on, but it seems like every time I know if I go to another location at least like a few times, it's going to crash. And I go log back in and get in, and it's just like, goddamn. But I'm already played so many hours of it, so I was like, I'm just going to go finish it. But I'm just saying, the last time I played this, I didn't have it. This wasn't a problem. But I guess maybe later updates or things just happen, you know. Yeah. But yeah, the story of Dragon Age is fine. It's a fine story, but like I said, it feels more of a side thing than a full-blown 2. And I guess, like, it's almost like Dragon Age Inquisition should have been 2. But now, you know, they don't even say they don't even say Dragon Age 3 or 4. They just say, they just give it subtitles now. And maybe that's for the best then. Yeah, it's just the combat stuff is just like whatever with this game. Like, it's not really fun or anything. So I'm just trying to get through the story of it, which I do like the story. But I already talked about the game years ago, so I'm not going to go too much into it. I played this demo called Ant Blast. You play as these two characters. Well, you can pick the characters you want to play as a male character and a female character. Don't ask me about the story. It's basically one of those callbacks to old platformers. You have these abilities, like you could have these weird abilities where you like jump. Let me look this game up because
Is this the one that's supposed to kind of be like a WarioWare or like the Pizza Tower game?
I want to say yes.
Okay.
I definitely Pizza Tower. I definitely see things like that's kind of similar to it, and yeah, it gets really like chaotic. Like it's like you can. I see people like I see this thing like guys going super fast through the stage or stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just starting out, so I'm still trying to kind of learn the game. And yeah, but it kind of reminds me of like a Sega Genesis like type of game.
Because it's ugly, right?
Huh?
Because it's ugly.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Because it's ugly. But I wanted this thing to stop. I turned the sound off, but every time I try to fast forward, it turns it back on. Like, what the fuck? On Steam. But yeah, you go, like, you can run really fast, you can do these special abilities and jumps and stuff like that. It's like really, it feels like really 90s, like, chaotic, extreme type of game.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, so far, I mean, I'm having fun with it. I have fun with it. It seems pretty cool. It comes out, November 12th. Yeah. But the demo, I think the demo is still available.
There's a demo on Steam. There's also been a demo on the Switch for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, if you can check it out there. I guess those are those only 2 platforms it's coming into right now? I don't know if it's coming on the other ones or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
But yeah. I played as Blast, the female, because that was the one, because I didn't see her, so I was like, let me just try her out. And I think I'm assuming they have the same abilities, maybe? I'm not sure. They are co-workers. They say they're a cranked out co-worker.
Okay.
So I don't know why I don't know what it is, but it looked like you're fighting Satan. Oh, you got to steal your spirits back from Satan. He stole your spirits.
That's a noble goal.
As in drinks? Is it
yes, your drinks.
There's another demo I played. I also played Altars, which is by the guys who did Frostpunk. I want to say it's Frostpunk, right?
Yep.
So in the demo, it looks like you play from the very beginning. The game, I haven't really got to the point of like seeing multiples of myself yet, though. I just really at still the very beginning when it's still trying to teach you what you can do and things you can collect to really build. To give energy to your base or whatever and things of that nature, like you're on a planet, and I think you only have some days left on the planet till shit goes wrong and you have to get off. But your ship crash landed there and you lost, like, I guess you're the only one survivor of your crew alive from it. So, and you're trying to get in communication with your other base, like I guess the people off the planet. But you can get and communicate with them, but it's barely. It's like through static, and like you can get every so often some word, and they tell you what to do. Graphically, it looks all right. I'm running on my PC, so it's I know it could look a whole lot better. It does run. It doesn't run great, but it does run up there. I was yeah, I was out. I do have some recording of it. Like I was out there collecting stuff. Actually, I think I put it in the last video. I'm not sure. I gotta look. I was out there like collecting things. So it has something on the side. It says like, "Hey, collect this." Now you don't have to do. It's just like other survival games now. They have suggestions to do on the side. You don't have to do those suggestions.
When you're exploring, is it like a third-person exploration?
Yeah, it's third person.
Okay.
Yeah, it's third person.
Because then you go back and you're doing like 2D base building, right? Or is that in third person too?
No, it's 3D, but it's in 2D. It's like how you
on a flat plane.
On This War of Mine was and stuff like that.
Okay.
So because I had to build some room. I had to build so I can do some more stuff, and I've still had to build some things too. I just haven't collect enough materials yet. But it's interesting because I just want to know the mystery of it, like what's going on here and everything. Yeah. That's really intrigues me. And yeah, I mean, it so far it seems okay. Now I'm not a good judge of these games. I mean, I did like This War of Mine, but I also got bored of it pretty fast, honestly. So I'm not really judging it. I never played Frostpunk, honestly, so I can't really compare it to that.
It seemed intense.
But the story of this is really interesting. Like this War of Mine, I never knew where it went. That's the problem. Like I didn't know. Like okay, I built this community. Is there an end? Like I don't know.
Yes, when they all freeze to death. This is a game about sadness, Dominic.
Yeah, so see with this, I'm not saying there's an end, but there is some mystery that there is like to learn on what's going on here. So that's why it really intrigues me. And yeah, so the demo's out there to play. I mean, I don't know if it still is. Honestly, I don't know if these are timed demos or not.
I'm not sure which ones are because I didn't get around to playing some of these until just the other day, and they were still available, thankfully. So I've got the alters downloaded, and it still says play. I haven't tried to launch it yet, though.
All right. So that's all I played. So what you been playing?
All right. So real quick, I'm just going to talk about a couple of things.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did play a lot of High on Life because it was leaving soon, it was leaving. Yeah. It was leaving Game Pass soon, but I didn't know the exact date. I was thinking it was the end of the month, but it wasn't. It was like the 16th, and I was pissed. I was pissed the hell off because I was like, I paid through all this, and now I can't even.
Still not gonna be able to finish it. Jeez.
Yeah.
How'd you end up liking that later on, though?
I liked it. I had a new gun. I was trying to get the third gun. Point, but I never got to finish it, so that sucked.
Yeah, when I saw that going off, I was like, do I jump back into that and try and finish it? I think by the time I saw it, though, I didn't think I had enough time to be able to finish it, so I didn't even go back to it.
I felt like I was going to play it for a very long time one day, but I was like downstairs on my Oculus, and I was going to play it through the app, and so that's all. Yeah, I ended up playing through the app. I didn't even download it again. But it was it was some big delays, man. On the Oculus. Like it was really the controller delays were really bad. And I was like, darn, I don't remember it being this bad, but I was playing baseball. This was like probably the first like fast paced kind of game I played up there. So I was like, darn, this sucks. This is unplayable.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
All right, so what you been playing?
All right, so real quick, I jumped in a couple of things that were announced during the Nintendo Direct for the Nintendo Switch Online. They added a mature version of the N64 app, which contains Turok and Perfect Dark. I just jumped into Turok to see how that game is. I've rented it back in the day for the Nintendo 64, and I don't remember ever getting too far in it. But like the idea of like shooting arrows at dinosaurs was pretty cool. And man, just jumping into this on the Switch is just the controller it does not match, obviously, because Nintendo 64 is such a different thing. And they use like the right stick to map the C buttons, but Turok was like ahead of its time while also being like way behind its time, because it uses the C buttons like kind of a right analog stick, but it does like strafing and looking on that stick, or no. It's strafing and moving on the right stick and turning exclusively on the left stick. So you're looking with the left stick and then moving with the right stick. And that just did not make any sense to me. And it took me a very long time to like start to be comfortable with the movement of that, to the point where I'm just like, you should be able to do something in these emulators that allow me to make this a more modern control style. Like, I'm pretty sure if I opened this up in like RetroArch or something like that, I could remap the buttons so it made a lot more sense. So yeah, that was basically absolutely awful. I got through the first level, and I don't know that I'm necessarily going to go back at any point to that thing. I jumped into Perfect Dark just to see if the controls of that were just
that game,
as bad.
didn't they? So is the remaster better controls?
Which one, Turok?
Yeah.
I would hope so. Jesus. I would absolutely hope so. But this is like, they kind of did the same thing with GoldenEye, where it was like, yeah, here's the Xbox version that has like dual joystick and better controls. Although I think they did update the Switch version a little bit.
I mean, that's sad that, like, see, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you got Turok, but it's like, if there's a better version,
yeah,
just go ahead and get it, Nintendo.
Just give me that instead. I think they're trying to use this like whole emulator thing as one, like not doing that much extra work, and two, like, here's a faithful version of that thing that you remember. And it's like, yeah, but as it turns out, that thing I remember is trash. But Perfect Dark, the controls are a bit better. They make a lot more sense. Like your moving and turning is on the left stick, and then you can strafe and look up and down on your right stick. So you don't have to like correlate quite as much. So it felt like a much smoother experience. I was able to jump into it and actually play it a lot quicker than Turok, but I didn't go very far in it. Perfect Dark's not a game that I ever really played much of back in the day, so I don't have like much nostalgia for it. Like, if I was going to do that, I would just try out like the Retro Collection or something like that, where the controls are probably much more improved. So that, I also jumped into Zero Mission. I always forget, like, because I have so many ways of playing Game Boy games, and the like Vita screen looks so good because I don't have a Switch OLED, but that's an OLED screen, that like sometimes I think I prefer that way of playing them over like the official emulators. But I will give Nintendo credit, like their like LCD filter for their Game Boy Advance games is very good. Like that game looks awesome on that screen, even not being like the fancy OLED version. That game's still awesome. It feels a lot more fast paced, and you kind of see the progression of like from Super Metroid and Fusion to this game, and then Dread, where basically anytime you're moving with Samus and Dread, she's like at a full sprint. This game definitely feels like a step closer to that, where you're just, all of your movements are faster, your jump is quicker and snappier, and you fall quicker, stuff like that. So I'm probably gonna play through Zero Mission now that it's available on here. And then on the PC, as part of like the Steam thing that you were talking about with the demos, I did play some of Metal Slug Tactics. It seems like a pretty solid tactics game. I haven't gotten to a point where it's like, you know, rock, paper, scissors style that you hear about in like Fire Emblem or Advance Wars, where it's like this unit will take out this unit, will take out this unit, which will in turn be taken out by this unit. But so far I've played as 3 different characters on the battlefield, and they all have different unique like guns and abilities and stuff, and that makes it interesting because like one person's like a grenade person, so their attack does like a blast radius, which can also hurt you or hurt your partners if they're in the range of it, whereas someone else might just have a longer shot that, you know, they can reach longer, further away enemies, stuff like that. And then if you put one character on the same plane as an enemy and then attack that enemy, you can do these sync moves, which means basically they're double attacking them for more damage. So it seems fine. It looks really nice. It's got a nice style to it, you know, kind of a retro pixel art kind of thing, but with this nice isometric situation going on. It didn't draw me in though. It seems fine. Honestly, I'll tell you, like, if I were to go back to Advance Wars, I probably wouldn't that probably wouldn't grab me nowadays either. It's just so slow paced. I think that's why like War Groove, the game that's basically just Advance Wars, like I played that for a little bit, but not super long because my attention span is just shot at this point, Dominic. If I'm not doing like action, it's probably not going to keep my attention for long, or at least something that's like activating my brain in some way. Now, the other demo that I played on Steam was Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop. This is a roguelike, what did they describe it as? Roguelike repair game or something like that. You're basically this guy who looks like a fox with like super weird eyes. You're like a half fox, half man. Like your upper body is fox. But it's basically like these small puzzles. You start out your work day because you're working for this repair shop, and you can get a job where it's like, all right, I'm going to repair this person's rocket ship. They've got this wrong with it, this wrong with it, this wrong with it. And you have to go in there and use this manual that's in game to diagnose what the problem is and then figure out how you can solve it. You can go over to like the refueling station and get your oil refilled, and then you pump it into the system, or go over and replace a fuse or something like that. And I had a lot of fun with that. There's 2 like versions of the game that you can play. One that's timed and then one that's not, but I think there is some other limitation on that version, so it's not just like super easy mode. I played the timed version, but I definitely would like to go back and try the more like chill experience, because I liked what I was doing, but I didn't necessarily like the like rush of like, oh my goodness, he's got like 3 things wrong with his ship and I'm not even halfway through this first one and I've only got like 3 minutes left. I need to figure this out. And I could definitely see a lot of fun in, once you've done a lot of these ships, just kind of knowing what you need to do and how to do it, instead of having to go through the manual and going, oh, if it's this, then I can do this. And I got to, flip this switch up and turn this switch down and do this. I think that would be a lot of fun, just like doing the thing. Especially if they kind of switch them up a little bit here and there. So that was a cool little experience. I don't know if that game has a release date yet, honestly, or like how much it'll be, but from that demo, it seemed like it had a lot of potential. So I'm into it. So far, November 2024 is what they have as a release date. But yeah, that's Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop, a roguelike fix-em-up. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay. A roguelike fix-em-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that's what I played this week.
All right, then. So I guess we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we get to the flashback segment and right to the gaming news, because we only got like one thing to talk about.
Yep.
All right. So we'll be right back.
All right.
And we're back. So now we're flashbacking to 20 years because nothing really came out 10 years ago. We're just going right back to 20 years ago, 2004 this month. And Driver 3 came out. Driver with the 3 where the E will be at. So this is cool. I like the title. I don't know why Jeff Gerstmann. I remember he always made fun of it. I was like, I thought it was all right. Yeah. The title anyway, but I never played the game, so I have no idea if this game was good or not. I know what did it get rated? Overall?
Pretty mediocre. It was like low 70s on the high end. Actually, no, the 70 is the mobile. PC was 41% on game good rankings, God. 58 on PS2, and 60 on Xbox. 50s pretty much across the board. Metacritic, besides PC, which got 40. So yeah, it definitely, the series that was supposed to be competing with Grand Theft Auto was definitely not competing with Grand Theft Auto, especially, you know, when you're talking about a game that came out shortly before San Andreas, you know, that comes out later this year. So that's rough. You know, it sounds like they kind of suffered from that too, because it sounds like Atari pushed the developers to get that game out before San Andreas, which just resulted in, you know, an even worse game than originally anticipated. So,
yeah, I never played any of the Driver series. So basically, by the time I heard about Driver, Grand Theft Auto was out, and I was just pretty
never
much
looked
like,
back. Yeah,
I just never did.
It's one of those things, like they didn't even really have like an interesting one, like the way that what is it, Streets of LA, how that ended up being Sleeping Dogs eventually, you know.
Yeah,
they never kind of made that turn.
Was it Driver? What was the Driver with the dead guy?
I think that's Driver San Francisco.
Okay, so
I mean that's an interesting story.
Yeah,
at least. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea about the game, but that was an interesting concept of you being a dead guy and transferring your spirit to different people.
Yeah.
And then this causes them to crash. I wonder, can you just cause them to crash and die?
Like, and then transfer to a different one.
All right, so so now I guess we get right into gaming news.
Yeah.
So what's going on in the gaming world?
So, Dominic, despite the fact that just last week we talked about Ubisoft's E3 style, you know, Summer Games Fest press conference, they had another announcement that they did not talk about in that very bland show that didn't have much of anything new. Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition is coming to the PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch this year on June 25th. So just mere days away from us talking about this right now. It's going to have up to 4K resolution and 60 frames per second. Obviously, that's probably, you know, going to be, you know, on the higher end stuff. It's not going to be on the Switch running 4K, but it's also going to have reorchestrated music and some other new content, as well as like art gallery and things of that nature. So if you've been waiting to play Beyond Good and Evil for a while, you know, this might be the time. I wonder if the reason that they didn't bring this up at the press conference is because people would expect Beyond Good and Evil 2 news shortly thereafter. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they're talking about this at this show. They better also have something like that.
Yeah.
But
20th anniversary. I didn't hear about this. I heard nothing about this.
Yeah, it just, I mean, it just popped up the other day. You know, they just basically released a press release. It wasn't. We had talked, I think, like last year or maybe even longer ago that there were rumors of it happening because there was an Xbox store posting about it. And, you know, this isn't like a remake or anything like that, but it's an up-resing and, you know, the best way to play this game.
So the up-res.
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they? For the not the 360, the Xbox One.
Yeah, I think it was the 360.
Oh yeah, because this was an original. Yeah, this was an original Xbox game and PS2 game. Jeez, yeah. Oh, Dominic, we're getting old.
Yeah.
Getting old.
Now the monkey thing is even old, Daniel. The whole monkey for Beyond Good Evil 2.
Yeah. Jeez, how old are we getting with that one? That's got to be like over 10 years at this point, right?
It's got to be up there, man. Good God.
2 announcement date. On the wiki here, let's see.
Or 9 years old, or maybe it's 9 years old. Because it wasn't the same year.
Announced in the game was announced as a sequel at UB Days 2008.
Yeah, but I remember seeing the monkey though.
No, the monkey was 2017, I think. That's when they had what's his face come out. Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh yeah. And yeah, because I was about to say it was post. What's that guy name? The gamer guy. We used to do that for the flashback.
Oh yeah, Mr. Coffee.
Because it was post Mr. Coffee. Mr. Caffeine. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez, Mr. Caffeine, we miss you. Come back when it's time to announce Beyond Good and Evil. But yeah, it's just it's crazy that this game is 20 years old, Dominic. Feels like it was maybe not just yesterday, but not that long ago. Not 20 years. This segment is starting to get, well, not this segment because we're not in flashback anymore, but flashback segment is definitely starting to give me some anxiety when I hear about these games that we are talking about being 20 years old.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's been a long time.
You were a lot more into this game than I was. Is this a game that you would want to go back and play again?
I kind of do. I mean, it's just finding time to really. I sort of want to, but yeah.
So, would you be interested in going back and playing this game, Dominic?
Yes. Just finding time to. Yeah. Like I would be though. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll find time because it all depends what else is available, and I'll be like, if this was like a big change, I think I would.
Or if it shows up on Game Pass.
Yeah, and if I knew there was a part 2 coming. See, I think it's this. If I definitely knew a part 2 was coming, I would. But since I don't know, I'm not. So it will always be because then I'm gonna want to play it again because I'll be like, I don't remember, right. Because it's been so long, and I'm just gonna wait till. Then I'll support 2 again. Part
2's coming. It's just going to be a live service game.
Yeah, we'll see. Nah. See, I think that's done. I think that's all scrap. I think all that shit they were talking about is scrap. And I bet you, if they do a part 2, it is going to be her.
Yeah,
she's going to be in it. I can imagine them still trying to continue that whole monkey person with, hey, I don't mind the girl. I mean, it's just that. That's not the character.
Yeah.
And
I forgot that was a prequel, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that whole concept just sounded dumb.
Yeah. Messy. All right, Dominic. Next up is the Nintendo Direct. It happened. We were talking about how it's been rumored that it was going to be actually, Nintendo announced it officially, but it was kind of rumored that it would potentially be this past week. And just kind of off the top, I feel like this was probably the kind of game announcement event of the summer. Sony didn't really have much to show, and Microsoft had a lot to show, but they didn't have a lot of dates to go with stuff. Meanwhile, Nintendo kind of came out here with a lot of stuff that we're going to see in the next 6 to 8 months. And, that's without even getting into a new console potentially. So it kicked off with Mario and Luigi Brothership, which is a new Mario and Luigi RPG game coming to the Switch on November 7th of this year.
Oh, that's just called Brotherly Love. It's called Brotherly Love as they go through Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yeah, but this one uses the art style of the old box art and stuff with the heavily outlined Mario and Luigi. I think it looks really good, and those games in the past have been I mean, I have a lot more experience with the Mario and Luigi series than like the Paper Mario series, but they always felt like kind of the more important ones, even though that they were kind of relegated to the handhelds. The gameplay seemed a lot more interesting to me. So that's very cool. Or is that a game you're excited about, Dominic?
Excited? No, but I think it's a cool game. Yeah. But then they announced aren't they bringing like Mario Luigi the HD remasters or something too? I thought I saw that.
No, I haven't seen anything about that unless that's just something I missed. But I mean, they just did the 1,000-Year Door that released a couple weeks ago for Paper Mario, but I haven't seen anything about that. Would be really cool if they did. Just even if they put those in the Switch Online, because they've got the first game like Mario the Superstar Saga or whatever, but like Bowser's Inside Story is one of the ones that people consider to be the best of the series. So that'd be cool if they brought that around. Next up was Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. That is coming July 18th. That seems kind of like NES Mega Mix. The World Championships were a physical tournament contest that Nintendo used to do back in the 80s. And they had, people competing against each other in different NES games to see who was the best. And it seems like that's kind of going to be what this is. There's going to be online leaderboards and stuff of that nature for different like short bits of NES games. And that seems pretty cool. I don't know what the pricing is on that. That almost feels like one of those things that should be free as part of the Nintendo Switch Online stuff. But I don't know. Next up was Fairy Tail 2. That is some anime stuff is coming out this winter.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a one.
Yeah, exactly. I thought this was
the anime series because I actually technically I think I watched it like COVID year.
Yeah,
I was watching it. But I mean it's just like those anime like Dragon Ball Z stuff. Yeah. I didn't know they had a one. When I saw that, I was like, oh, it said two. I said, oh, did it release in America? If it did, it's just one of those things I didn't know about.
Yeah, slipped under the radar.
Oh, so yeah, that's how I was thinking about Mario Luigi. What was that, Superstar Saga? That came out last year.
Yeah, that came out on that's on NSO, the Switch Online stuff.
Switch Online, okay.
After that was Fantasian Neo Dimension. This is the game that's been on like iPhone, I believe, for a while, but it's made by the Final Fantasy creator Sakaguchi, and also I think it has the music from one of the Final Fantasy guys as well. But it just kind of looks like another anime RPG. Any interest there, Dominic?
No.
Next up, then.
I don't even remember what the game looks like.
It's because it's kind of generic. Like it's not doing anything special. So like it's hard to catch people's attention when it's just another one of those. Even though it does have this legendary name, connected to it in some way. All right, next up, Dominic, was Nintendo Switch Sports is getting basketball as a free update coming this summer. So that's cool. I kind of forgot that Nintendo Switch Sports was a thing even. But yeah, new content for free is always nice. So I can slowly dribble my Switch remote.
Look, yeah, it looks generic, and it got characters that look like characters from other games. Like, yeah, it's a character in the game. It looks like Vincent.
Yep. And there's also another one that looks like 2D from Nier Automata.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not like she's the only person to wear that style like maid outfit, but like also, come on. All right. After that was Mio Memories in Orbit. This game kind of reminds me of like Ori and the Wisp of the Willow or whatever. It's got a very nice art style to it, but it also is just kind of a 2D jump around platformy kind of thing. It looks very nice. Did that one stick in your head at all? That's coming out in 2025.
I have to go to it, man, because I don't remember none of these things.
Here, I'm gonna post.
Oh, I see it. Oh, I'm here. Okay. Okay. I mean, I don't see no. Let me see the gameplay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks interesting. Yeah, I'm curious about this game.
Yeah. Next up was Disney Illusion Island. That's getting some new content, mystery update that is out now. I like that game a lot, so it's cool that they're adding stuff to it. But that's kind of the extent of that.
How much it costs?
It is free, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of an.
But back to that Mio. Yeah. I love the hand drawn art.
Yeah,
storybook style has for the background. They go with it. It looks really good.
Yeah. All right, then Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I don't know that we need to say anything more than that.
It looks better than the old one.
There you go.
That's about it.
All right, Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. This doesn't look particularly good.
That is, what the hell? I mean, I'm just surprised.
Why is this even a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, kids are not into the Looney Tunes anymore, Dominic. I feel like.
I mean, you gotta put them with other things, like in the multiverses.
Yeah. Exactly. Or, I mean, put out some new Looney Tunes stuff. I mean, obviously it's Space Jam or whatever, but like Disney's been keeping Mickey Mouse relevant. Like there are several new Mickey Mouse cartoons in addition to just like the CG Kids ones.
And try with them. I mean, don't just put out some bullshit, because then that's what be looked at. It'll be looked at bullshit.
Exactly. Like these are iconic characters, or at least for like us, and people older than us. But like, it feels like these characters don't mean anything to kids nowadays. I don't know. All right. Speaking of kids nowadays, Among Us is getting a new free update that's going to add new crewmates and imposter roles. So if you're still playing Among Us or looking back to getting into Among Us, you got that going on. Farmiga is a new farming simulator / like monster capturing game.
It's a Pokemon game. That's what it is.
It's a Pal World like, Dominic. It's a Pal World like.
God, yeah. You capture monsters. You can train them. Like they say all that in the video, and I'm like, good God! I say this is the game that people should be saying like. Oh, they mean Pal World too, but I'm just saying, like, are people going to attack this game too? Saying
no, because this game isn't going to be relevant at all. It's not going to get the relevance that that Pal World had, so nobody's ever going to remember.
And it's on Nintendo Direct, so that means Nintendo's okay with it.
Yeah, that's true. They gave him the rubber stamp. All right, after that was Donkey Kong Country Returns.
It'll be really funny if this game is just a better Pokemon, honestly. Like it won't. Yeah, you can say it's not relevant, but like
doubts.
just as a game itself. As a game itself. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. Like I'm looking at this game.
I mean, Pal World showed that it is.
If you want to put this much effort into a game like this, because this doesn't seem like this is easy.
Yeah, no, like, it doesn't seem like just a cash grab or anything.
Yeah. You could make it better than Pokemon. It shouldn't be that hard.
That's the secret, Dominic. It is. It is. I mean, it's the
all right. So, main value. I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to see. And if it's not as good as Pokemon, I want to know why.
Yeah.
And like what didn't you do? Because honestly,
they took Nintendo's money to make it not as good as Pokemon. That's the secret, Dominic.
Yeah, that's
how they got that's how they got this spot in the Direct.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, this is no threat to us. This is no threat to us.
All right, next up, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. So this is an HD version of the Wii game that eventually came out on the 3DS with new levels. So those new levels are included in this, and that's coming out January 16th. So that's
for $60
for, I'm sure, at least. Yeah.
Or 50.
or
70 at the least.
Or
50,
70.
50 at the
They're going to be like, oh, this game is playable on the Switch too.
How much
so it's going to be 70.
How much is Tropical Storm? Is that still 50 or 60?
Oh, I guarantee it's still full price. Let's say Tropical Storm. It might be on sale right now, just because I feel like there's been a sale going on the eShop recently for Nintendo titles, so it might be like 41 or something.
See, Daniel, I think this is one of those games they were talking about that they have on the shelf. Games that are already made 20, almost like 10 years, 15 years ago.
And they can just spit them out whenever they want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that, Dominic. $60 goodness right now. Tropical Freeze.
$60. $60 fucking dollars.
That at least has Funky Kong mode. They did not announce any sort of Funky Kong mode for this new one, at least so far. So we shall see.
It's got to be, man. They need it.
Yeah.
Oh, if they don't, how lazy is that?
Yeah.
Like not to even add anything. Like, darn.
Hey, they gave us the 3DS levels that were also already made. So.
No, that's not adding something.
Yeah. All right, Dominic, this should be a hit. Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake, and also eventually that one is coming out November 14th, and then they are also doing remakes of Dragon Quest 1 and Dragon Quest 2 in the HD 2D format.
So I guess you
coming
play
out
it
in 2025.
Backwards.
Yep,
you play backwards,
exactly.
people.
What do you think? Are you into this, or is this like you've already played some of these games? So
well, it's like 4, 5, and 6 were I like those.
Okay, those are the new ones.
Better story. Those were better stories. 1, 2, and 3. I mean, I'll play the remake, I guess, to see how it is.
Yeah, because these were NES games, right? This isn't even like Super Nintendo. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I could see that. But yeah, it's cool that they're getting this treatment. And using that engine for more things, because that is a cool looking art style. After that was Funko Fusion. This is coming out September 13th. It's just got a whole bunch of different like Universal properties
so Funko
in
Pops, it. That's what I'm about to say. It's Universal that's really with.
That's what
Funko.
It seems like. They've got Jurassic Park, Jaws, and Scott Pilgrim front and center.
And then I saw the bear from.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah.
There's He-Man in there. There's Back to the Future stuff.
Was there E.T.?
I did not see any E.T. that I remember, but yeah, I'm not even totally sure what this game is outside of just like a run around and shoot things game. I don't know. They're trying to be Lego. It doesn't seem like it's really working though. This does look better than some of the other Funko stuff they've released in the past, but still not interested there. Next up was Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. That's coming out June 27th, so that is basically here at this point.
See, this is it. Yeah, that's what those guys were talking about, Daniel.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, they got so many things on the shelves. Yeah, they do. Games that already came out before.
Yep, and they will charge you $60 for. All right, after that was the new Denpa Men. This is a super weird looking game. This looks like Teletubbies. This coming out July 27th.
I was just talking to you recently, like, when are they going to get a new Denpa Man game out there? 'Cause
I've got the old Denpa Men, but I need a new Denpa Men, yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck is this shit?
I'm still trying to figure that out, Dominic. All right. After that was Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. That's coming out on Switch and is now out.
It's out.
It's coming out Tuesday.
Well, actually, it's out now.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's out now, and I don't know. Well, it's out now on PC. I don't have no idea for the Switch, but I didn't hear really good reviews so far for this one.
I didn't see a lot of
the
people.
Animation. They say animation's great, which I'm looking at. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
they say gameplay wise, is it? So I was like, yeah, I'll wait for the tactics then.
Yeah. All right. Next up was Darkest Dungeon 2. That's coming out on Switch on July 15th. So
good God, it took that long
there. Yeah. But, That's another one of those things.
I still have not played that game.
Keep it in their pocket, you know.
It's another game, I want to play. During the animation looks so much better than the first one. Look at it now.
Yeah. And that's the Switch version. All right. Then, as I mentioned, the expansion pack online stuff, they added some games. They added Metroid Zero Mission for the Game Boy Advance, as well as Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Game Boy Advance version with the 4 swords. So now you can play 4 swords online with people. That's kind of cool. Because otherwise there's no point in playing that version of Link to the Past because it just has fewer buttons, which, you know, was the downfall for a lot of those Super Nintendo ports to the Game Boy Advance. And then Perfect Dark and Turok. I hate that they made it a separate app for the 17 plus games or whatever, the mature games.
Oh my God, Nintendo.
Like
get out your ass.
Yeah. Just make it a setting if you're going to do that. Like, you can still set up parental controls and whatnot. But, yeah, like, I launched the Game Boy Advance one, and I was like, okay, these games are here. And I went to the 64 one, and they weren't there yet. And I was like, that's weird. Maybe they're coming later. So a couple days later, I checked again. And I thought they had said something about, like, a mature version. But I didn't think that they would be that dumb. And it wasn't like... When you go into the Nintendo Online section in the like My Nintendo or whatever, that first icon on the Switch, like it wasn't there. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm just missing something. And then eventually I was just like, oh, all right, let me look this up and see what this is. And sure enough, they have a separate app for it. And I hate that so much. Like, how many games are you going to bring over to that app? Or is it literally just going to be like 4 by the end of you updating it, and it's just going to be silly.
Just make that for a day.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, it seems like kind of a given that will come eventually because, you know, Perfect Dark is a rare game, so obviously they have those deals in place with them. It would be crazy that they wouldn't do that. Of course they do. They have Banjo-Kazooie, but they don't have Banjo-Tooie on there yet either, so I don't know. That's another one. They just got stuff in their back pocket that eventually they'll be like, boom, release these Nintendo Online Switch games, and everybody's going to be like, hell yeah, brother. All right. After that was Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero. More anime stuff, Dominic.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Cute little anime girls.
All right, so that's coming out 2025. Let's get into it now, though, Dominic. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. This has got everything you could pretty much want. Although I was thinking that they might be like also Marvel vs. Capcom 3, like it's just like an extra, on top of it. But they'd probably just try and resell that at like $40 or something by itself. But yeah, this has got, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus like Street Fighter. Yes, please. The Captain America
X-Men
game
versus Street Fighter, man. I remember that because not when it first came out. I mean when it first came out, of course, like that was cool. But when in high school, which is 11th grade year, so that'd be like 2001, 2002, probably 2002-ish, because that was second semester. I was in my AutoCAD, and so when we be like bored, somebody found out, it was like, yo, they got this thing, somebody got an emulator up here on the computers.
Oh, nice.
Where you can play like some arcade games, and there's Street Fighter versus X-Men was up there, and we used to always play that, man. We used to always just play that game, man, like every time that breaks. And then I would always have break because I always cheated because somebody had all the answers to the AutoCAD where it was on the floppy disk. So I would just be like, act like I'm working and say, oh yeah, I'm working. Wait, when he comes back, and then I just wait probably like a few minutes later and just put the whole thing up and say I'm done. And then I'll be back playing my game, playing Street Fighter.
Nice.
Oh man, that was a good.
Yeah, so this has
Those
X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and the formerly arcade exclusive The Punisher side-scrolling beat-em-up game. So that's why we probably haven't heard of it, Dominic, because we were talking about that, like how this is like, where'd this even come from? Apparently that was like an arcade exclusive thing, so I probably had never even seen this thing before.
It was in the arcade. Okay.
Yeah. So that collection looks awesome. That's coming out sometime this year. They didn't give a specific date, but it's so crazy that we were just kind of talking about this last week, and then this comes along because
I know, man. Just like the Epic Mickey thing.
Yeah, they're listening.
When is the Epic Mickey game coming out?
When is that coming out? Let's see. Epic Mickey release. Rebrush. That's what it is. Fall of 2024 so far. Oh, no. What? February. Okay, yeah. They announced it in February. 2012, 2010. Okay, yeah. It's fall right now.
It's still fall.
Specific date. Yeah. All right, next up, Dominic, was Super Mario Party Jamboree. It seems like they're going crazy with this because it's up to 20 players online. It's coming out October 17th. Oh, yeah.
Can't wait for this.
So if you are into Super Mario Party, then this is going to be the definitive. Yes, we know how big a fan you are, Dominic. Yeah. So. You and 19 other yous are going to be playing this game. All right. After that, Dominic, new Zelda dropped.
Never played one Mario Party.
Not any of them, really?
None. Wow. Never touched it.
I mean, I don't think I've touched them since like 64 days because my buddy would rent them and we would play, but that was about it.
I'll just read how bad they are, but I'm like, they're really bad, but people buy it. So,
exactly.
So how are they really that bad?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're awful games. I think, for what they are, for party games, I think they're probably, fun for younger audiences.
Yeah, playing with three other friends, you know, just doing crazy shit. Yeah, it's probably all right. Like if you don't take it too seriously, whatever.
Exactly. Or if you take it too serious.
Yeah. You take it too serious. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Dominic, we saw a new Zelda game in the art style of the Link's Awakening remake, and this one is called The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Hold on, real quick.
Sure.
Oh, I'm back. All right. Go ahead.
All right. So in this Zelda game, you were actually going to play as Zelda because Link has been kidnapped or sent to like another realm by Ganon. And the only thing is, like, you don't have a sword as Zelda, so it's not necessarily going to be a traditional isometric
woman can't use sword.
Zelda. Apparently not, but they can use wands of wisdom or tri-rods.
And spatulas for the kitchen and stuff like that. And pots and pans.
See, I haven't seen any of those yet. They need to. They've got pots, but they've also got anyway. So Zelda in this game can basically use her tri-rod to make copies of different objects. You can do rocks, you can do beds, you can do all sorts of things. It sounds like there's going to be a wide variety of things.
She hurt those monsters with her complaining.
Yeah, jeez.
Her yelling and complaining.
They're yelling and complaining. Yeah, so I was a little worried that this was going to be like, it wasn't going to have any sort of combat or anything, but they do show combat, and you can use those different items to defeat enemies. You can also then capture the enemies and make duplicates of them and then have them fight for you. So I think that aspect of it will actually be pretty cool from what they're showing off in this trailer.
I mean, this is pretty cool. I mean, I like this whole idea of it,
It's definitely creative.
And it's really showing how the Nintendo's becoming woke.
Yes.
Yeah, I know people are loving that.
Yes, like the costumes for Zelda are just not sexy enough now. Just wearing a cloak.
But like someone said, I think someone joked and said how people were getting angry that it's not called The Legend of Link.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And someone I like how people are joking about it. And somebody said, "We're not joking." They said, "We're not."
I think it would be really funny if they changed the name to Legend of Link. I think that would have got a big pop too if they, had shown that off in the actual thing like that.
Yeah.
Now, if you change the name, it's just kind of funny. But like if they had just announced this game as The Legend of Link: Echoes of Wisdom, I think that would have gone over quite well. That's coming out September 26th. So like, again, the big reason why I feel like this was such a positive thing, because like we're rattling through some of these games and like who cares about Hello Kitty and Phantom Brave and whatever. I'm sure there are some people, but yeah,
Hello Kitty, man.
Hello Kitty.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that Island Adventure. That it's been how many years, man? So it's been over 10 years. I'm glad they finally getting back, man.
Exactly, getting back to what made the franchise real. But they just had big games that are coming out soon, and they were kind of scattered throughout this show. There's a lot of anchor points. Very at the very beginning, you had Mario and Luigi. In the middle, you had Street Fighter versus or Marvel versus Capcom in this, and then at the end we'll get there. Also, a Nintendo Switch Lite Hyrule version is coming out on September 26th as well. It's going to be gold. It's got the Triforce Hyrule logo on the back of it. It looks nice, but that's, whatever. Just Dance, Dominic. Ubisoft gave up Just Dance to announce it here, so still a thing. But again, They didn't have anything in their press conference, and they're giving everybody else the things they could have shown off here. So that's coming out in October. And then we had a short trailer for Lego Horizon Adventures. Of course, we talked last week about that coming to the Switch. Short video for Stray, which just looked like it ran like absolute trash on the Nintendo Switch. So.
Oh, yeah. Now, did you see how, it ran?
What's that?
The Zelda game ran good in the trailer, and I'm just thinking, like, is that running on the Switch too?
I can only hope that at the very least that game runs better on the Switch too, because if Link's Awakening is any indication how this game will run, which is only going to be more complicated because of the way the game works with all the different objects, which I was concerned about watching that video.
What? I'm looking at when like the wind was blowing and stuff. It did look like it was a little slow.
Yeah.
Downish. Maybe it's just like certain parts are smooth and then certain parts it's a slow down, of the game. Because when I see the wind thing, it's like, oh, it doesn't look as smooth. When I'm seeing like enemies moving and doing stuff.
Yeah.
See, right here, it doesn't look as smooth. Yeah, it looks like, okay. All right, so it probably still runs the same as...
Yeah. I think I told you in text the other day, like, I just hope that, like, these games that we're seeing at the end here aren't getting dumped on the Switch and then just, like, to die. And not to die, but, like, to be inferior versions of what could have been. Because that very much felt like what they did with Metroid 2, the remake. Because it was like, here, this is on 3DS. And then, like... a month later, probably like 6 months later, the Switch came along and it's like, man, I don't want to look at this shitty 3DS screen anymore with its low resolution.
Well, I was assuming that Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible.
Yes, but does that mean it's going to make the games run better? That's my concern.
It better.
I agree. But
no, Daniel, if those games are run better, Daniel, I mean, you know what? They can go to hell.
I agree, Dominic. But like, some people were making very good points, which I didn't think about ever.
Tell me these points, Daniel.
It's not to support them. It's in fact to point out their shittiness. So like Twilight Princess, right? That was a GameCube game and a Wii game, and the Wii is backwards compatible with the Switch. Or sorry, with the GameCube, but they sold two different versions of the game, Dominic. And then And then they did the same thing. Didn't they do that with the like Wii and the Wii U or something like that? But either way, like I don't trust them, not the backwards compatibility part of it, but more so the forwards compatibility part of it. That's what I am afraid Nintendo is going to Nintendo and just try and absolutely, fuck us on. Now,
they're just going to say like, hey, you can play these games, but we're not going to have it like PlayStation and Xbox where it's like, oh, it runs faster. It loads
I could actually see them going like a PlayStation route where it's like, okay, for $60 you get this game. For $10 more, you get the Switch 2 version add-on.
You're thinking that like that. Oh God, that's really horrible. Or
I would prefer that over having to buy two separate copies.
Oh yeah. Or it would be like some games can go. Say, hey, these games work. The other game, well, not work, but like everything works. But these games,
but these are the ones we put work into to make run better. Yeah, that is my worry that's the most realistic situation. Because like even PlayStation kind of was doing that for the longest time. Like here are the games that are the ones that you're gonna see like real enhancements on, and that's why I gave Xbox a lot of credit, because they just kind of baked in a lot of that stuff and did the work for the developers to just kind of benefit from. All right, Dominic. Next up was Tales of the Shire. This is seems like it's basically like Sims
Harvest Moon.
Meets,
Sims, Harvest Moon. Well, I guess you would say
Stardew now.
Actually, who's making this game? This isn't WB, right? This is like somebody else?
It's being published by Private Division, and I think it's actually being made by Weta, like GameWorks themselves.
Okay, so it's not, which is weird because they kind of did work with Warner Brothers for the movies. So
exactly.
I kind of like almost. I guess Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing. Basically. Crossing. Yeah.
The only thing is, like, Private Division sounds like it's basically in the process of getting shut down anyway. So Private
Division.
This is going to be their.
It makes me think of Division.
Hurrah. Yeah.
For some reason,
they should just sell that off to Ubisoft. Sell that branding off.
What other game did they make?
They're just publishers, really. But I'm trying to think. They've done. They did the Roller Drome. They published that last year.
Oh, okay.
And there was another game
they did Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Before they went to Xbox, I guess. Then Ali World.
Ali World. That's the other one.
Kerbal Space.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, they said the parent organization was Take-Two.
Yeah, it is, and but. We talked a couple months ago about layoffs there.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're basically trying to sweep under the rug that they're basically completely defunding Private Division and probably going to shut it down, which sucks. All right. Another big one, Dominic, coming from Capcom, Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. So finally we get...
They got 2 remakes this year.
Yeah, so finally we get the second game.
They're like remake/remasters if there's an in-between, because they're not real, they are remade, because this ain't the same.
Yeah, no, they got a whole new art style in there.
And but it's still the same game, really. Yeah. And you can switch. They say you can switch even to see it in the old way.
Which very much is like, when I see it, I'm like, oh, maybe I don't want to see it like that.
Yeah.
This is one of those games where it's like, I see the art and I go, oh yeah, that's how this game has always looked. And then they switch to the old version. It's like, oh yeah, this was a pixel thing. Yeah. Sorry.
Except for Halo fans, Halo fans with Halo 1, they really hate it, because it's like, oh no, the mood from the old Halo was something. And you know what? I get it. I'm okay with those people having that, but
sure.
I don't care. I like the new. I like the new look. It's like, I get what you're saying, that how the new art kind of ruins something of the mood or whatever of the old games, I understand.
Especially if you have some like level of nostalgia tied to it too. Right?
Yeah, and I say, but I'm also okay with it because you can switch back. It's not like they take it away, so it's not a big deal.
Exactly. So that's coming out September 6th. That's awesome. Let's see. Next up was the 100-line Last Defense Academy. More anime stuff, Dominic.
Yeah,
coming out early 2025.
It's Danganronpa, guys.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, because I was looking, I was like, this looks familiar, and I was like, oh, this is Danganronpa art style, and yeah, it's the guys who did those games. So I'm kind of interested in it. They kind of do these freaking teenage, really sadistic type of stories, but in a fun way. It's just that's their style.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven. That looks all right. Coming out October 24th. Turn-based kind of gameplay. So more anime. And then Dominic, the final, one more thing of the show was Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. This is the first time we're seeing something other than the logo.
When I saw the ship, Daniel, I was hoping it was Star Fox.
I don't love the design of this Samus ship. It's not great, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's why I said I thought it was Star Fox. When I first saw the ship, I said, oh, wow, they're doing a Star Fox. And then I saw like, oh, it looks kind of sad to see. And then I saw Samus jump out.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, which is good. Yeah, I mean, it's good.
It is good.
I just kind of wanted didn't show Metroid 4 just for the 4. You could be mad, Daniel. That's why.
I wouldn't necessarily have been mad, honestly. Like, I would have been fine with not seeing this game until Switch 2 reveal. If it's not coming until then, it's got a 2025 date on it, which feels like it's got to be a game that bridges between, at the very least, the two consoles. Further to our conversation about like what a Switch 2 means for a Switch 1 game. I didn't see anything in this trailer that made me think like this isn't a Switch game. It looks nice, but the remaster of Metroid Prime 1 looks pretty incredible.
Yeah.
On that system. So, it's not something that's undoable.
Exactly.
This trailer doesn't show much outside of, just Samus exploring and kind of seeing this war going on the planet around her. So it almost feels like we're going to see like a more lively environment than in a lot of Metroid games where it's usually just kind of Samus doing her own thing on this kind of desolate planet. You got this main bad guy, it looks like. I think he's one of these like Metroid hunters guys. So I wonder where that goes as far as the lore goes. But yeah, I'm excited to see what this game ends up being and where it ends up being, especially as a 2025 game. Like, is this a game that you try and put out before the Switch 2 comes along, or is it just a game that launches alongside of it or even comes later? I feel like that might not necessarily be the case, but, they didn't give us a firm date, but they gave us more than we had before, which was just a logo, which clearly wasn't even the final logo because it didn't have a subtitle at that time. So yeah, just again, the way that Nintendo was able to anchor this show with several big announcements at the beginning, middle, and end of this show, as well as support from Capcom with Marvel vs. Street Fighter and the Ace Investigations. Like, there was just too much for me to deny how kind of awesome this was. Overall, what did you think?
This was definitely... Yeah, best of show. Like, I think Nintendo really had the best of show between the three big companies anyway. But the announcements, they were great. I mean, I can say, like, there's a lot of games there for Nintendo. Like, if you got the Switch, man, you got a lot of... things to choose from there, And
got a lot to look forward
yeah,
to.
I'll be excited, man. I mean, Mario Luigi Brothership, man, that seems pretty cool. Then you have the expansion pass stuff, games out there, man, to play. I mean, yeah, they
even if both of those Nintendo 64 games, well, Perfect Dark aside, even if Turok is garbage.
Yeah, but it's just and it's so weird because it's like they got all this and they could do so much more, and they just don't. Because like I said, I just think that there's a secret society of like retailers or something of companies, and they say like, look, you can't, you gotta keep it even, because if you do go out and put have a thing where you have all your old games on this system and stuff, it will destroy the balance.
Yes,
it's sort of the balance of the consumer balance force, and we can't do that.
Yep.
We can't. So that's why Nintendo does things sometimes stupid.
Because it's crazy looking at this show and then like thinking about a lot of the stuff isn't even the stuff that's been rumored to be like sitting on the shelf forever, like the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker remasters for the Switch, or the Fire Emblem Holy War remake for the Switch that allegedly has been done for years. And it's like, that's why like even further is like, where's all this shit coming from? Like Nintendo's got like long-term booking going on. They're like, all right, we've got all of these things that we can just pull from whenever we need to. Occasionally I'll be like, just to fill this out, I'll throw out Donkey Kong Country Returns.
And Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Yeah. Like honestly, it's like you already did Luigi Mansions 3 and did they do Dark of the Moon?
This is Dark of the Moon. They just removed the subtitle to make it kind of clearer, I guess, about the lineage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I said Dark of the. Is it Dark? What is it?
That's I think it's just Dark Moon. Yeah.
Dark Moon. Yeah.
Yes. Luigi Dark of the Moon. Fighting Megatron.
It's just so weird. Like you didn't. They could. It's fine to put those out, but it's like they're gonna put them out at full price too. It's like y'all can get away with this. How do you get away with this shit? Like what the f,
by
man?
Being Nintendo, Dominic.
Yeah, and then you did that Super Mario 3D All Stars, which you could have made that game like you could have put so much work into that game to make it really special, and cost $60. But you said nope, we're just gonna put it up there and just gave it $60, and we're only going to do it for a year or something. Yeah, it is like what? It's so weird. It's so weird that to do shit like that. Oh God, it's like what's going on? Like why?
It's just them showing how much power they have over the market. They're like, we're going to put this out for a year and you're going to buy it because you know you're never going to be able to buy it again. All right, Dominic, that was the Nintendo Direct, and that was basically the news for the week. If you don't have anything else, we'll get into new release.
Yeah, we get new releases.
All right. We got one, basically, that means much of anything. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree. That's out on everything.
Doesn't mean much of anything. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's like one of the biggest.
It is the biggest thing.
Yeah. It's like everybody rave reviews. We're just ones who just don't like it.
I still haven't given Elden Ring a chance, and I feel like at some point I want to, even though it's just another Dark Souls, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, which is great.
Yes, which is great for the people that like that. Absolutely, but. I don't know. There's something about like the open worldiness of it that just like.
I just want a story, man.
Yeah.
Like this gave me a story. I don't know why I'm doing this shit. And when I talk to people, they just talk. They just not really. I wouldn't say in riddles, but it's just like it's not. I don't know what the fuck is going. Like they don't really help me with the whole setting.
Like I need more context for what you're talking about. But I haven't collected the item that's like 90 million miles across the other side of the map, so I don't know how the son of this god is related to this item, which is tied to the shield.
that game should tell me is what the fuck is the Elden Ring? Why don't the game tell me what the hell that is? Like at the start. I'm like, why can't I just know what the hell this is?
There should just be a voiceover. One ring rules them all and binds them together.
And some people say, like, well, it's like about playing the game. And I get that. I mean, okay, fine. But give me some type of story. Like, I don't know, man. It's like I need, I ain't talking about handhold, but I need some story, man. I need to know, like, what am I doing?
Yeah. All right, Dominic. Elden Ring was basically it as far as.
Oh, damn. That really, nobody really came out.
I mean, I wouldn't want to try and come out against Elden Ring either, so.
Gotta be some obscure game on Steam up here that I see.
There's.
Oh, yeah. I'm here now. Let me see what they got here, Daniel. It's probably some.
Turn that safe search on. Yep. Turn that
Let me see. It's not on mine. It's a game called Legend of Masturbator, which is an RPG, JRPG 2D anime. For $7.99, you can get it now.
Oh, okay. That just sounds like a deal.
It's a game that says, since ancient times, the Inzu Peninsula has been home to a variety of fish. Legend tells of a mysterious fish known as the goddess of Inzu, and as the story reaches your ears, you decided to make it your life goal to catch the mystical fish. So it's not what you think it is, Daniel. It's not
It's clearly not.
It's not a porn game, but they do have girls with some big boobies in here.
The amount of things that are at the top of this new release list that fall into that same similar category.
See, like, this is what you tell your people, but whenever they play the game, it's like, oh, this girl really is, she got some big ass thighs and titties here, and this one's just popping out here and everything. Which is a fishing game, but it's a fishing game, Daniel.
How about Let's Go My Harem Farm?
That's a new game?
That's a new game.
Harem Farm? Oh my, it's a farming simulator.
It's Stardew Valley, but if you could have many more. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
I wonder how well these games sell.
I mean, I don't think it takes, some of these games don't look like they take much to make, so I think they'd be making the money.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true.
It's a game called X Angels, which it does even say hentai in there. It's a roguelike though.
Well, that's good.
It's a game called Innocent Grape.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, a game that's not a sex game. Dystopica. I actually saw that's actually a demo. I think this was at one of those game shows.
Oh, okay. Is that like a city builder?
That's what it looks like.
A city building sandbox for futuristic cities. No goals, no management, just creativity and dark, cozy vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like I'm just building Blade Runner environments.
Yeah, and I guess it's like a not deep as Minecraft, but somewhat like it. No really ending. You just play sandbox.
Take the LED slider and turn it all the way up. I want
Pet Shop Simulator. Here we go.
Yeah.
See, y'all let these guys get to it. It should have been some to the people who did like Farming Simulator or Euro Truck Simulator or something like that, because it could look a whole lot better. Like Pet Shop Simulator should be like a huge game.
There was one I saw somewhere. It might have been on like the Epic Store or something. That was just like Police Simulator, and I'm like, isn't that like every game?
Yeah, I think I saw that too.
Patrol Officer Simulator.
And then here we go. Solo Leeching, 35-year-old magician journey. A MILF who is potent and cold-blooded bounty hunter is now hunting for semen because of a curse. To lift the curse, she has to swallow her pride to ask men for help.
Pride, huh?
Watch the arrogant MILF gradually submit herself to the reign of semen.
Oh my goodness.
Game of the year.
I don't think we can say this on this family-friendly podcast.
Good God, man. Oh, let's see what the user reviews are.
A reign of tens, I would imagine.
It says, good place to take a break after 109th death in Shadow of Erdtree. The Shadow of Erdtree.
Man, he's topical.
Here it is. He got this product for free. Oh, good for him.
Oh, come on. Let's get him review codes for this game.
If you are a busty virgin mage, there is no better way to lose your virginity than to say that you are suffering from a curse that you must drink liters of thick, manly liquid to cure yourself, so that at night you can ride all those beefy monsters with big bulging members that you can beat and hunt it down. Oh, that's a description, it sounds like. There he goes. Really? He goes, really? This is a deep...
I bet he does.
This is a deep review. He got like an overview. The story, the gameplay, the playability of the titles similar to any other. It's like paragraphs for each one. He describes the sexual content that's in the game. Then his conclusion is this. A game that focuses more on the sexual content than on the gameplay, as it simplifies the RPG elements, being of short duration, having only one set of equipment, and having only 4 areas to explore, so it's perfect for those who are not so fond of the genre or turn-based battles. As for the sexual content, this seems to me of good quality, although the sex scenes are image sequences and not animations. Mainly because of the art of the game, and the scenes is very good, has its own style, and how to draw the silhouette of the body of the protagonist is very suggestive, which helps your little friend is immediately motivated. Oh yeah, he says a lot of other stuff in there. Okay. He gave it 7.5 out of 10.
Oh. High praise.
Wow. I just saw like the cuts, not a cutscene, but like a scene on the Steam page because they moved. Oh my God, Daniel, this is disturbing.
Intense. Yeah.
It's very disturbing.
All right. Well, in that case, Dominic, we can wrap this show up.
Yep.
Thank you guys as always for listening. You check us out on Twitter, DominicZD.
Oh, there's a Gladiator Manager game that just came out.
Oh. Does that mean I get to put him in the fighting pits?
Yeah, it should be like a Russell Crowe character here or something.
I don't want anybody uprising.
It's an auto battler sim where you build a team of gladiators and compete in arenas and plan fights. I mean, the art style looks nice. I don't know if it's a good game. It got positive reviews, but it's only like, I mean, who knows? I don't know who reviewed this. It could have been the people reviewing it like 1,000 times. People made the game. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's an early access.
It does look surprisingly nice. It kind of reminds me of like Darkest Dungeon, but brighter.
Oh, it's out of early access. I mean, yeah, because some people, version 1.0 is out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. Yeah, just because how it looks pretty. I like the art style. All right.
Throw them in the pits. All right. You can contact us on Twitter. Dominic's at DStalworth5. I'm at Regulus MB. The podcast is at Supapod, SUPAPOD. Supapod.com is the website. You can check us out there. It has all of our previous podcasts, as well as links to all the places you can find us, including YouTube, where there's a video version of this podcast, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and not Google Podcast, damn it, YouTube Music, and Spotify. Until next time, guys, talk to you later.
All right, see you.